The mother of a 14-year-old boy who took his own life after interacting with an artificial intelligence-powered chatbot has begun legal action against its creators. American teenager Sewell Setzer shot himself after discussing his suicidal thoughts with a character in an online role-playing game. His mother started legal action against the maker of the game, Character.ai, and its parent company, Google. Both deny any wrongdoing. Well, let's talk to the technology journalist, Chris Stokel-Walker. Chris, what is the significance of this legal action for the tech companies?
For those two tech companies involved, I think pretty significant. This is unfortunately not the first time that we've seen this. However, this is the first time that legal action has been lodged against companies that are alleged to have played a part in some way in encouraging someone to take their own life thanks to the advances of AI. Of course, the one thing that we do have to bear in mind, Jamie, is this is in the United States. Unfortunately, in the United States, there is a tendency to try and litigate these things through the court, which does not necessarily mean, A, that it will succeed, or B, that it will set a legal precedent. But certainly, I think I would be worried not just in terms of the idea of being caught in a court because of this, but also the risk, I suppose, of the court of public opinion. And this has really shocked an awful lot of people to learn that actually someone took their life in part through seemingly encouragement by this AI character.
You set up the differences between Europe regulation and US, perhaps lack of regulation, if we can call it that. What responsibility do tech companies have when it comes to children and teenagers?
Yeah, we're seeing this play out not just in terms of the role of AI, but also in terms of other tech platforms, ones which are perhaps a little bit more long-standing in our lives, such as Instagram and other platforms, Snapchat and others like it. There is an increasing, I suppose, awareness of the potential liability of these tech companies for some of the actions that their teenage users are taking, which is, I think, why those tech companies are starting to crack down on maybe those underage users, people who, sneak in under the age of 13, which is generally the limit for these users on these platforms, and start to use it in a way that harms their mental health. At the minute, there's not really all that much legislation around the world that does this. Certainly the UK is thinking of it, thanks to lots of lobbying by the deceased parents of a teenager here called Molly Russell, but also in Europe we're seeing stuff. But as you highlight, the US really not taking as much action at all because, of course, large numbers of these companies are from there and based there as well.
I mean, even with legislation, can you really regulate? Can you really edit?
Not really, and this is part of the challenge, particularly when it comes to AI, because in part, you don't really know what AI is going to do. It is, by definition, a black box, and it is reactive to the individual user, which is, I think, why it becomes so difficult for these big tech platforms. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't be doing something. Certainly they should be. They've got too big, many people believe, too fast, and not really taken action to try and mitigate the risks that occur. But when you combine fast-moving tech with the sort of foibles of individuals and their individual choices, you get a pretty potent mix that can cause some real issues, as we're seeing not just in the online world, but the offline.
Chris, I'm sure we'll watch the legal proceedings in the United States with interest. For the moment, thank you. That's Chris Stokel-Walker, the technology journalist.